Okay, good morning, Coach Jinks. We have Coach and two players, Stephen Carr and Vavae Malepeai with us. Coach, maybe you can make some opening comments about how spring ball's gone for you and how your group has performed. And you're on mute, Coach.
I just do as I'm told. I just do as I'm told. Hey, good morning, bud. Thanks for having me and the guys on. It's been a very productive spring. The most important thing is we've been able to stay relatively healthy. We got through the spring game. I really thought that the guys have done a great job of bringing a physical mindset to our offensive unit. And just look forward to them continuing to progress.
Okay, again, please raise your hand if you have questions. We'll start with Ryan Karchi.
Hey, Mike. I know this spring is the first time you've really been able to work with Keontae Ingram. Can you just talk about how you guys first came in contact with him and just what you've seen from him this spring?
Yeah, as far as how we first came in contact with him, there was a couple defensive hires that helped a little bit on the other side of the ball there, and I've got a lot of family in East Texas, and then had the opportunity to visit with them, and a lot of them had the opportunity to see this kid play growing up, and not only they speak on his ability but his character. He's come in and he's made them seem like a bunch of geniuses. He's a talented kid, and what I appreciate more is is the way that he goes about his business, because you have a very strong room, it's full of men of tremendous character, and he's only added to that.
Okay, Scott Schrader. Again, questions for Coach or the players.
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Hey, I know that most of the people in here are going to be asking me about Steven and Vavae and the running backs and spring ball and all that kind of stuff. But you guys have a little bit over a month, maybe 5-6 weeks until June rolls around. And do you guys already have a plan for what you guys are going to be able to do as far as recruiting is concerned? Maybe traveling. I know you're going to be hosting a bunch of official visits and stuff like that. But just curious if you guys know what you're going to be doing in June.
I really don't know. I can't speak into too much detail on that. I can only kind of tell you what we know at this point, and it's kind of fluid. I know that we'll have a couple of camps coming in June. We haven't set those dates quite yet. Official visits. We'll have 4 official visit weekends in June. So my plan pretty much, Scott, is it's going to be like back in fall. I'm going to go ahead and bring the pillows and blankets out, and I'll be camping up here for the month of June.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, we'll go to Adam Grossbard.
Yeah, for Stephen and Vi, thanks for doing this morning, guys. When we spoke to the offensive linemen earlier this spring, they talked about how, one of the big differences with Clay McGuire coaching the line is just, learning more techniques and stuff, especially in the run game. I'm curious, just from your guys' perspective, if you can see any difference in terms of how they're blocking up front for you guys.
You want to take this one, Vi, or I got it?
You got it.
All right, no problem. I'm happy that you guys have us here for this interview, and good morning to everybody. I like him as a coach. He's amazing. I can see a huge difference in what the O-line's doing. I have a better understanding of the blocking scheme, so that's helping us out a whole lot more. And I have a way better understanding of the run blocking. So I like him as a coach. He's doing his thing.
And when you guys just look back at the tape from last year, it was a bit of a struggle to get the run game going at times last year. Just where do you feel like, you as a position and just, the run game in general can, where are the areas for improvement?
I feel like there's always room for improvement regardless of what it is. But as far as run game, a lot of it comes down to mindset and making sure we just execute our assignments, and also communication. So just having that, being on the same page with the O-line, whether it's run or pass, really, but making sure that we know where the blocks are going and we're on the same page and everything's flowing.
Ryan Young.
For Mike, kind of the same question. What impact have you seen Clay McGuire make in terms of what he's doing up front that's going to help you guys with the run game?
Well, I think it's just a familiarity with the system as a whole and how the run and the pass marry up from a systemic standpoint. I think Graham and Clay have there's a lot of history there, and I think they're very comfortable in that, not only their conversations, but in schematically and what they want to do and how they want to do it, and that's ultimately important. So it's been fun. It's been fun to watch. It's a work in progress. The bottom line is there's from top to bottom, there's been a commitment to the run game, and as a running back coach, that's exciting to see.
I know you can't give us all the secrets away, but is there one specific thing that just really stands out to you that's different about what he's doing up front?
I really, again, who's to say who's wrong and who's right from a schematic standpoint? Again, there's familiarity. They're on the same page and drinking from the same bathwater, and that's what's most important.
Thanks.
Back to Ryan Karchi.
Hey, Mike, I know you said a couple months ago that you were hoping to find a lead back and kind of a number 2 guy as sort of a change of pace back. How difficult has it been, or how difficult has that group just kind of made in terms of determining 1, maybe 2 guys when you have, a running back group that big?
Well, that made it extremely difficult, and I'm happy of that. And did I say a change up back, or did I say kind of like a 1A and 1B? I mean, I'm trying to remember what I said.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's very difficult to get 3-4 guys, right? I mean, trying to split the carries there. It's got to come down to 2 guys, and we're going to continue to compete. We're going to continue to evaluate. And, we're going to work our tails off in the summer. We're going to get in fall camp, and when we come in that first week before that first ball game, we'll release a depth chart and a roster, and we'll know who those guys are. But there is commitment to do that, because that's the right thing for our football team. And that's the right thing to get our running game back where it needs to be.
And for Vi and Stephen, I know I asked Coach Jinks about Keontae, but what's just generally been your impression of Keontae and Brandon, just the new guys you've seen?
You got it, Vi.
Just mature dudes coming in, ready to work, and that's really all you could ask for in the running back room. You seeing other dudes work hard, you gain a sense of respect for him. And BC, he's coming in as a young dude, and he's still supposed to be in high school, but when he's on the field, you kind of can't even really tell just because of the way he works. So it's nice working with him, and we're for sure just talking after every play on the sideline. I'm pretty sure Steve can attest to it too. We kind of just, give tips to each other, small things that Coach Jinks teaches us. We kind of just emphasize it to each other, remind each other of it.
I like both of the guys. They're both from Texas, man. They're both hard workers, but off the field, I think Vi covered everything on the field. I think off the field, Keontae has a great energy, man. He has a positive mindset about everything, and Brandon, he's a young cat and he's willing to learn in all aspects of life. They're both new to the city, and they have a lot of questions that go on about the city and stuff like that in school and football. So I try to help them out. I know me and Vi try to help them out as much as we can to get them familiar with everybody in the campus and things like that. But I enjoy their company a whole lot. They're two bright dudes.
Okay, Mark Culkin.
Good morning, gentlemen. Last year, you guys didn't have a spring. You didn't have a summer or fall camp. Can you talk to how that affected the run game or the lack thereof from last year, and how you're improving on it this year, having those three things hopefully coming up, including summer and fall camp?
Well, I can speak on that just very briefly, and I'll let the guys take it over. But and as part of our film study, when we went back and we visited, rewatched some of the first few practices of fall camp, and Steve and Vi, tell me if I'm wrong. We're trying to figure out how the hell we got to a Pac-12 championship game. Just because it's when you don't have a spring football and you're thrown out there and you don't go through summer access and stuff. We came a long way throughout that season, and it's a testimony to these kids and just their mindset. So having this spring and having the ability to get out and improve, not from spring but spring to summer, and then have a fall camp, it's going to be huge, and I'm excited about it. But boys, I'll let you take that over. Tell them what you saw. Maybe it was just me.
All right, I got it. Yeah, pretty much. We watched the first scrimmage of fall camp, and I mean, I feel like it's nice to see the growth of all the players, of all of us, really, not just the running back room, but the O-line, and just seeing how we communicate better now and everybody's on the same page. And like I mentioned earlier, there's always room for improvement, but we did look at the film and was like, dang, that's funny, just to see how much we've gotten better from it.
I don't know if Stephen wanted to talk on that comment, but did you feel at times maybe last year, because the running game was struggling, that you guys relied more on the passing game because of that? You didn't have that fall camp or the spring camp. Maybe that was a result of maybe passing the ball more.
Who's to say? A lot of times, you go back and you look at it, and it is a little bit more difficult to maybe establish that physical mindset when you don't meet in an entire week. When you don't, there was a game there too that I don't think we had a practice one day with the starting offensive line, not one. We had 2 or 3 guys there, and there was no contact at all. That might have been the Washington State game where we did go out and throw that dang thing. And luckily for us, they came out and they played man the whole dang game, and then we were able to get up big in a hurry. But again, you got to take it. You got to learn from it, and we understand and know, in order to get to where we want to go, not just to be in that championship game, but to win it and move on and win those playoff games. We've got to be able to establish a run, and that's something that we're working towards.
Okay, Ryan Young.
Mike, going back to that decision of finding one or your top 2 guys in August, obviously you have 5 really talented backs, and whoever's not in those top 2 is going to probably be surprised and disappointed. How have you braced the guys for that pending reality?
It's basically, I mean, in our room, it's an unbelievably competitive mindset, and it's every day's a different day, and we do a great job of watching the film together. And the biggest deal is communication, and making sure that everybody understands what they're doing well, and some of the things that they need to improve on. So as long as you're honest and you're transparent, you can't do anything but respect the process.
And for Stephen, you were one of the stars of the spring game a couple weekends ago. What did it mean to you to kind of seize that spotlight, that showcase, and remind everyone of what you can do?
Like Coach said, it's a day-to-day process. We don't try to think about things that happened in the past. I still got practice today, so I got to go out there and prove myself again. But it was fun to have fans out there. It's fun to interact with them. I know the whole team had fun doing that. It was a blast, though. I can't lie, balling with my brothers. I think all of the running backs had some fun out there, if I'm being correct. But we try to focus on the next day, like Coach Jinks was saying. We don't really worry about the past too much, man.
Okay, Ryan Karchi.
Mike, I know Keenan obviously isn't in spring camp, and when you're trying to, whittle down a depth chart to, largely use those top two guys, how difficult is that for a guy like Keenan who doesn't have this experience, and then will just sort of have to jump in fall camp?
It's not easy, the thing about Keenan, he's got great aptitude and he processes things relatively quickly. And while I happen to be able to spend a lot of time with him on a day-to-day basis, we've been able to communicate here and there throughout this spring semester. And what I can tell you is he's chomping at the bits to get out there and join in this competition. And it's a blessing to have this kind of depth in that running back room, because as you well know, and in my short 2 years here, we want to get two guys going throughout a game but how many times have we gone through the season with two running backs? I mean, heck, I remember one time when it was just one, and then we had to bring a receiver and then a DB over to try to make it through the end of a season. So it's definitely a blessing to have this kind of talent in our running back room.
Ryan Young.
For Stephen and Vi, how much do you guys appreciate having this extra year kind of offered to you, and was a no-brainer decision to come back and play one more season?
For me, it's very beneficial. I'm able to come back and get my degree. I'm able to play another season with the Trojans, and it's just very beneficial. You get another year in college, another year to sharpen up your tools, and another year to be coached by Coach Jinks. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It's a blessing for sure, and I'm just trying to make the most of this opportunity I got. Same can go for Steve as well. So for sure going to get to it, and we're just enjoying the moments.
And then we've been asking Coach Jinks a lot about this going to two backs for the season. What do you guys think about that? You've been part of these committees for a couple of years. What's kind of the players' reaction to knowing that there's going to be the chance to get in the rhythm and two guys really rolling through a game?
It's exciting. I said we all just focus on what's in front of us, really, and where our feet is. So it's a matter of enjoying the process and making sure we trust the process. So, it's just a matter of getting better every day and just controlling what we can.
Okay, we'll go to RJ Abadia.
Hey guys, for Vi and Steven both, who on the offensive line has impressed you the most in terms of improvement, maybe from last year?
I think I'm gonna go with Cortland. He stepped up a whole lot, man. In terms of just his mentality, now during spring ball, he'll come in the locker room and ask me questions about, what happened on this run, or what do you think I should do with this block? Not saying like where to go, but just giving each other feedback, learning how to work with each other, because that's very important in the backfield. You know what I mean? Learning how your running back runs and learning how your offensive lineman block. So I think that's very important and a very great part that he stepped up in, just communication.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of growth from all the linemen, really. Someone stood out to me is Justin Dedes, just because I've seen him go from guard to center throughout the spring. And I mentioned earlier about communication, and he's been doing a really great job of communicating with the backs on pass protection and where the runs are going. So, and it's the same thing with Steve. His locker's close to mine, so he's always asking me after practice, like, what did you see on this run? If I made a cutback, he's like, what made you cut back? Did I not do this? Did I not do that? And it's just a matter of communicating. So.
And you guys have had some pretty good battles at the goal line against the defense. I'm just curious, who gets your vote for the hardest hitter this spring?
Kanai or CP.
Hands down.
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that. Or Tuli Tulopu.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Scott Schrader.
Stephen Carr. The spring game was the first time, fans anyway got to see you in a couple of years. I mean, in practices. And from my perspective, I mean, this is the best you've looked in quite a while. You looked explosive. You looked fast. You looked aggressive. What is the difference physically for you now versus maybe a year ago or 2 years ago?
I think it's really just in terms of the work ethic. You know what I mean? And it's a mental side of it too. Actually, I feel like I understand more of what I'm doing on the football field. I'm playing more comfortable. I'm not thinking as much. I'm making full speed decisions. That's something that Jinks really talks to us about in meetings. And I just think it's more about just the work ethic. You know what I mean? Doing stuff out off the field and doing stuff outside of practice. I think that's the biggest difference.
And this might be a question for you and Vi. Just been hearing the word cohesive, at least just from some of the offensive linemen, and it kind of seems like there is a different vibe. We may say this often in the springtime because there's a lot of optimism and so on. But what is the cohesive? What is that? Give us like what the definition of that means for what you guys are seeing from within you guys as a football program. I mean, is there a difference in the way that you guys are feeling about this team this spring as far as a team versus maybe a year or two ago?
Yeah, I just feel like we're more tight knit. It was kind of hard last year. There's no excuses, but I mean, it's kind of hard when you don't have a spring, and when you come back in the summer, your season is kind of canceled. And when it's put back on again, then you have to work out separately. So like, it was weird last year. You kind of never even saw the O-line or D-line just because our groups were different. By the time the O-line was on the field, every other group of the team was off the field. So now it's cool to, work out with each other and just practice with each other, compete against each other, get better every day. Practice get real physical. And it's probably been the most physical spring that I've experienced since my time here. And for me, I've been here for a long time. So, I mean, it's great. I love the competition. And I feel like practices like these just make the team come together. And that's when you really have a family.
And to piggyback on what Vi was saying, him being here for a long time, me being here for a long time, I also love the fact, and I think Vi could agree, that we get to teach all the younger kids, some of the traditions of being a Trojan. It's a lot that the coaches could teach, but there's some things that only the players, understand, and only the players can relate to when it comes to, just acting or performing in the Trojan way. So that's another thing I love about, the team being together and being, or bonding. I think that helps the whole team elevate.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, and we're just about to our time limit anyway. So Coach Jinks, Vi, and Stephen, thank you very much for being here. Great job today, guys. To the media, a reminder that today's practice at 3:25 is open for viewing by the media. And also our next Zoom will be on Thursday at 8 a.m. We'll have Coach Snyder, our special teams coach, with Parker Lewis and Ben Griffiths joining us. So with that, we wish everybody a good day. And again, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. Have a good day.